I'm thankful actually for a lot of unnamed people out there who made it possible for me to go to school.
They gave me the leverage to be able to go to the big cities and to interview at law firms there.
I have absolutely no regrets about what we put in for our education. I just feel like that's something I have for the rest of my life.
Every law student goes through the experience where they feel like they can't compete, they're not as smart as the next student, they're not as talented. You know, those feelings of self-doubt. And I remember when I received my grades the first time, you know, I really wondered, is this worth it? Can I compete with the other students?
If you had to attribute one cause of where I am today, it's probably the externship that will set all the dominoes in motion to kind of help me get where I'm at.
When I was looking at the externship program, one of the things that caused me to pause about doing the externship program was the fact that I had to buy my own plane ticket to go to wherever it was. So in my case, it was to Switzerland.
I had a lot of friends who were not able to do an externship because they felt financially obligated to get something paid.
You have the cost of the airfare to get to Russia. My wife hadn't worked for the last 3 or 4 months. I was in law school. We didn't have a whole lot of money. Again, we prayed about it and we felt like this is the right decision.
Because of sponsors, people who sponsored the externship program, a good portion of my plane ticket was paid for. Just that little bit of extra help. I think it was like $500 that they paid towards it. And maybe that seems like a small thing, but when you're there and you're taking student loans on and you had recently quit a job, $500 is a big deal.
It sounds like it's not that big a deal, but it actually is. When you're not going to make any money and you're already having to foot the bill for transportation costs out there, any little bit helps.
I'm grateful for the $500 that was given by donors who helped pay for my plane ticket because it took away any of my inhibitions to not go.
I currently work at the U.S. Securities and Exchange Commission, which we often refer to as the SEC. They are the agency that regulates the stock market. We're out there catching the bad guys. There are a lot of bad people in the world, and they're out there trying to steal your money. At the SEC, we try to catch them. We're here to get that money, freeze it so they can't have access to it, and bring them to justice. The externship program was a new program when I was in my first year of law school at BYU. We may have been the first class to do externships. I had the opportunity to work for this major international law firm in Moscow, Russia, my first summer of law school. We looked on it as an investment. It actually was the best investment I could have made while I was in law school.
Going to BYU for my law degree was really a leap of faith. I applied to, I think, 13 different law schools. And really, from the first day that I set foot at the BYU Law School, I knew that it was the right place for me. My law professors at BYU are incredible, and I say are because they're still my colleagues, and they're still my friends and mentors, and they will be for the rest of my life. Outside the classroom, they wanted to help me. Not just to be a good student, but to be a good person. I just got to the city this week. I moved in, I guess 3 days ago, into this apartment, my very own apartment. The movers dropped off my stuff, and I still haven't really unpacked. The rest of my life starts on Monday. I start my job. I get to see if I have what it takes to be a lawyer in New York City. Before my externship, I was really scared. In my classes, I was scared of being called on. I was so worried that I wouldn't measure up, that I wouldn't be good enough that some alarm was going to go off and someone was going to come and say, oh, you shouldn't be here. After my externship, I had a lot more confidence because I knew what we were learning all of this for. And now I'm a lawyer. It's all happening right now. This is home now. And I'm not packing my suitcases to leave after this weekend's over. This is where I stay. The rest of my life begins Monday.
Law school's taken me places where I never dreamed I would be. I mean, I had never thought that I would want to live in New York City. I had never dreamed, never thought about living in Chicago, never had any desire to live in Chicago, but it felt like the right place to be. One of the things about the externship program that has affected my entire life is the fact that it opened my mind to possibilities. I'd always thought that I would stay in the same city, the same state where I had grown up. But that one experience of going and working through the externship program not only opened doors and opportunities, but it really opened my mind to be willing to follow those opportunities. And here I am in Chicago, I think, as a direct result of that.
It takes volunteering sometimes to get the substantive legal experience you need to succeed.
And if you value experience, then you'll love it.
The difference between a paid job and an externship after your first year of law school is really big, because when you're paid, they want to make sure that they get value out of what they're paying you. And so you basically go somewhere and shred paper all summer or do secretarial clerical work. If you do an externship, you can get some of the biggest and best and most prestigious placements. And the employers are excited to have you because they're not paying for you.
My first externship was my first summer after my first year of law school. I worked for a public interest organization in Washington, D.C., where we did free legal work for veterans who were appealing denials in healthcare or education benefits. I was able to do things that a lot of my classmates weren't able to do who were working for pay.
The people were thinking, well, let's give the volunteer the best work, because they felt kind of indebted to her because she was working for free.
Because they knew I was just there for the experience, they really wanted to give me interesting work, and they wanted to give me something I could, take back that would pay off in education and not so much in dollars.
I didn't decide I wanted to be a lawyer in my youth. I think I wanted to be an astronaut or an archaeologist or something like that. I practiced law in Washington, D.C. I think one of the most exciting places to practice law. The White House is just 2 blocks away from us here. See the Washington Monument when you come over the bridge every morning. And so it's really an exciting place, and you're just right here in the middle of it. When I first heard about the externship program, I didn't know that I wanted to do it, actually. I was a new father, and I felt like I really needed to work that summer, earn some money, and to go the summer without earning any money was kind of a hardship. And I really didn't have very good perspective, I feel, at that time. And in retrospect, I would encourage anyone to do an externship. It was one of the greatest experiences I had at law school. It gave me an opportunity to go and actually experience the practice of law in a corporation. It turned out to be the right decision for me.